I decided to play the most hated, the most controversial, the most maligned entries in two of Nintendo's most beloved franchises, Star Fox Zero and Metroid Other M. I've never played these games before, but I've heard countless upon countless reviews disparaging their quality and doing deep dives on why they ruined their respective franchises. But my goal playing them was to find something good to say. We need more positivity in this world, and I just know that these games have something underneath their questionable control schemes and hotly debated story choices. So today, I'll be reporting back to you all on what I enjoyed about Nintendo's two largely begrudged black sheep. Hey, it's been a while. I'm Jared, and this is Level With Us. Let's start with Metroid. I know that Reggie Fils-Aimé was quoted by saying that Other M was going to be the defining moment for the Metroid franchise, and I still remember the E3 where it was announced. People were talking about it like it looked like some next-gen title. And truthfully, visually, it does hold up pretty well. There's a lot of particle effects everywhere, and honestly, the action cutscenes is the most impressive thing I found about the game. And these were probably the best contribution Other M has to the series, because in Samus Returns and Metroid Dread, we see that they kind of continued those quick time events / cutscenes where Samus does some really cool move against a boss, and that all started with this game, to my knowledge. For a Wii game, it looks pretty darn great, and I also found myself really creeped out in a few key moments. The Metroid series is not known as a horror franchise, but whenever it dabbles in it, whenever it kind of leans that direction, I think it's way better for it. It fits so well to have so much tension, and there's these moments in Other M where Samus has to slowly turn around corners, wondering what's awaiting her as she stalks around this space facility. Gameplay-wise, in addition to those awesome action sequences I already mentioned, the game has you switch between kind of a third-person perspective and a first-person perspective. And I think this concept is really cool. You switch to first-person, just like a Metroid Prime game, whenever you want to pinpoint something with your missiles, and then switch back to the Wii Remote on its side, which also, I was really surprised how well the game controls. I think part of it is because a lot of your shots kind of have an auto aim to them, but Wii Remote on the side was perfectly comfortable for all the actions and all the power-ups you get. Just 2 buttons and a D-pad works really well, it turns out. And while switching between the two perspectives didn't always work seamlessly, I still really like the idea. Okay, I've avoided this long enough, let's talk about the story. I don't think it's that bad. Certainly, the voice acting, very stilted. The monotone monologues that Samus frequently gives does kind of make her character feel a little weird. But like, if you took those out, she seems pretty in character to me. She's still a boss fighting all these terrifying enemies. She's largely silent whenever she encounters other people. I think that the story isn't horrible. I think it was just localized poorly. If they had just made a few changes to the script, I don't think people would be as down on this game as they would be. I even liked Adam. I thought he was okay. He didn't blow me away, but like, he didn't seem that annoying either. In general, the broad strokes of the plot work. You're exploring an abandoned space facility where some of its experiments have gotten out, and it's up to you to hopefully put an end to them, and to the Metroids if they are back. You know, it's standard Metroid fare, and it's not that egregious if you kind of look at it from a holistic perspective. So that's what I thought of Other M. Of course, it doesn't stand shoulder to shoulder with some of the series greats, but it's not a bad game either. If you can get past some of the, cheesy story beats and kind of look at it from an interesting gameplay perspective where they really wanted to try something new, I think there's some stuff to love about this game. And that brings us to Star Fox Zero. So, similar to Other M, Star Fox Zero was kind of an attempt to reignite interest in the Star Fox franchise. And I have to admit something. There was a time in my life where Star Fox mattered more to me than The Legend of Zelda. I know, it's crazy, but there was a couple of my preteen years where Star Fox was my favorite franchise, and I'm talking Adventures, I'm talking Assault, I'm talking all of the Star Fox games. So I was so excited when Star Fox Zero was announced, but for whatever reason, I never got to play it until now. I bought a Wii U, bought Star Fox Zero for like $5, and yeah, I've been playing it, and I've been having fun. I definitely see where the criticisms about the controls come from, but they weren't too bad to me in that they didn't break the game. Like, I was still able to progress through a level relatively easily, even if I was not switching my attention between the two screens too much. And you could honestly ignore the gamepad and still have a decent time with it. Now, I still tried to, of course, use it, and there were particular moments where it worked really well. I think those enemies that you have to flip over in that snowy region, don't remember what they're called, that was cool, because there were certain moments where you wanted to aim up or aim down as you flew. So dividing your attention between the two screens, again, definitely understand the criticism, but I don't think the game is unplayable by any stretch. I think the visuals are also perfectly serviceable. You know, the game runs at a smooth 60 FPS, and there's explosions and particle effects everywhere. It is a little bland, but I'm trying to be positive here, okay? As far as gameplay goes, the themes that impressed me the most were the new vehicle abilities. Similar to the walker that you can use in Star Fox 2, which was an unreleased game, they kind of recycled that idea to make this kind of funny-looking walker out of your R-Wing, and I kind of liked it, especially because it gave you complete autonomy over switching to walker form and R-Wing form. And I really like that. I like having options, even if they're not required. It kind of felt good to be like, yeah, I'm going to run on the ground for a while. Okay, now I'm going to switch to the air. Or there would be a level that was largely expecting you to be on the ground, but then I'd switch to R-Wing mode anyway, just to cruise to the other side of the map real quick. That was really fun. Likewise, the gyro wing, I think it's called, was also really cool. I like that it was used for kind of a stealth mission, which usually I don't really like stealth missions, but in this case, it was kind of fun to weave and be really meticulous and thoughtful about how you control your vehicle. And then, of course, dropping the drone, the little robot, and then having it be a completely different perspective on the bottom screen. That felt really cool. That was when the controls especially clicked, where you have two different perspectives, and then you get to choose when you switch between them. I think one of the core pillars of the series is spectacle, and some of the missions really do deliver. I really liked a lot of the boss fights, and I especially loved the mission where you're trying to destroy incoming missiles while also protecting the Great Fox from being attacked, and you have to switch between your priorities a lot. That's really fun. At its best, some of these missions are really cool. Now, granted, a lot of them conceptually were kind of recycled from Star Fox 64, and I know I promised I would try to be really positive, but the one thing that did really irk me, it wasn't the controls, it was the fact that the story and a lot of the dialogue of this game is just Star Fox 64. Now, I could be wrong, but I feel like Star Fox Zero, when it was announced, it wasn't presented as a remake. So it kind of bugs me that they are like, no, it's the same story, it's the same dialogue. Some of the missions are the same. Now, to its credit, they do remix them, right? They do add new mechanics and try to make it feel new and fresh, especially to players who hadn't played any of the original classics. But overall, it obviously doesn't stand up to something as tight and honestly perfect as Star Fox 64. But for what it is a good Star Fox game. There, I said it. It works. It's not horrible. It's not great. It's okay though, and I'm really glad I finally gave it a shot. Other M as well. Both of these games are worth playing, and they're dirt cheap if you can find them on the used market. So, do I recommend them? Yes. Yes, I do. Do I think they're the best in their series? No, not really. But they're not bad games either. Honestly, if they interest you in any way, you should give them a try. They have some interesting ideas, and I think remembering games that most people would rather leave forgotten can give you a lot of perspective on game design philosophy. And I think every game has something to enjoy. So, I hope you enjoyed listening to my thoughts on both of Nintendo's biggest black sheep games. And if you like my opinions, you can of course follow me here, but I also try to post a new game review every single week on the GG app. You can go to ggapp.io on your computer, or download the app and follow me. I'll have some links in the description. But yeah, it's been so fun to try and clear away my backlog and then find little gems like these. And yes, I did call them gems. But until next time, I'm Jared, and thank you for letting me level with you.